Okay, welcome to another edition of Complete Media Network's Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Campbell, and as always, joining me on Monday, Jason Cameron. Hey, buddy, how are you?
I am good. I'm alive. I am well. I had to drive a lot today for work, but it's okay. It was a really nice day today.
Yeah, I heard it was supposed to rain, so I was pleasantly surprised with how nice weather it was. Gorgeous out there. I enjoyed it myself. You're in Dodger blue tonight. Like the hat, like the shirt. Any reason why Dodger blue today?
Well, first off, for me, when it comes to hats, it has to just match the attire I'm wearing. So that's why.
Okay.
I have a blue shirt with a blue hat.
Makes sense. Okay, makes sense. Yeah. Good one. So how was your weekend? Get up to much?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I didn't do anything. It was so gratifying. Actually, the only thing I did do something. So Friday evening, I did some dry needling, and then Saturday, I did a sauna followed up by a deep tissue massage.
Oh wow!
So that was what my weekend was to get my body back into a good spot and to rest.
Nice.
That was.
Tell me about the dry needling. What's that, like acupuncture you're talking about?
It's kind of like acupuncture, but it's not, because it sucks a lot more. Because what they do is they take that needle in there and they just kind of go, no, that's not it. That's not. There it is. And then your muscle spasms right out of control.
Whoa.
And it's almost like it's a release of tension from the muscle.
Holy shit.
And so it works. It's great. But once the guy's trying to dig into your muscle with that needle, that's not great. That's not a good feeling.
Man, that sounds terrible. I don't like needles at all. They were talking about needles today because of vaccinations and stuff, and I was just like, okay, I gotta get out of here. I don't want to talk about needles. I can't stand them. So I only did acupuncture a couple times, but it didn't seem like needles. But how long have you been doing the dry needling thing?
Oh, a long time.
Really?
I've been doing that for years. Like, I find that there's certain spots in my body that I absolutely need to do that, because I just need that tension to be released.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for me, like suffered from an old injury on my right hip. Okay. So dry needling is super effective there, but it super also sucks and hurts. But it's needed. So
nice.
I did that Friday evening, and then with the massage on Saturday, now I feel great.
So are you getting close to LeBron type numbers for the amount of money that you're putting into your body to keep it healthy?
You are a joker. You're a jokester. Super joking. Okay. No, well, I don't think I will ever get to that point. Like, even for a month of what he does, like not even for a month, but it's important for us to try to do maintenance and upkeep for our body, especially for what we do. So yeah. I do what I can.
Nice. Well, it's good. Does a lot of it covered through your health plan and stuff?
Yep. Nice. Pretty much everything is covered. Great. Pretty much. I make sure to use it all, because why not? It's there for us to use. So I use it.
Good for you. Yeah. I'm probably in need of that type of stuff right now. I'm feeling it in my body. I've been working a little bit hard for the last little stretch, and I wake up in some pain almost every day and feeling it at times. We got a text this morning, and one of the guys threw his back out, and it was before even 8 a.m. It was like he had to move a hospital bed from the set into the Riverview elevator and then down so they could send it away. And I guess in the transition of trying to flip it on its side and get it in there, he blew out his back. So before 8 a.m. he was already on the shelf.
Oh, and I know those elevators, and I know what he had to do to flip it on its side. Those hospital beds, especially the mechanized ones, super heavy, super ridiculously heavy. So I hope that your coworker is not on the shelf for a long time, but he could be.
Yeah, no kidding. Did you hear about our bit of a COVID problem we've had now?
Oh no, no, I did
You didn't
not.
hear about
No,
that?
what happened? Is half
Uh,
the crew gone?
you remember a friend of mine tested positive for COVID last year, or was it earlier? Must have been. No,
Was
when
it
was I
earlier?
on the shelf? Was I on the shelf last year?
No, was it earlier this year? Was it
Must
early?
maybe it was earlier this year. Yeah. So
Yeah.
same guy. He's on the
Oh
shelf
no.
again.
Oh
Uh,
no.
yeah.
No.
Um, I don't know for sure if he tested positive. Some other crew member tested positive. He was working close with them, but he has not got any vaccinations, and I think that's the reason why they shelved him, put him up for 2 weeks and back at home. So second time this year. Yeah, I can't remember what month that was for me, but yeah, he's in that same boat again.
So, quick question for you. That leads me to a really good question. So, for those folks that are now for your show, anyways, that are vaccinated and they're exposed to COVID, is there a different protocol for them?
Yeah.
Is it not 2 weeks? What is it?
No, they just had to get a test. Once they found the results tested negative, they were allowed to come back to work. So
Immediately.
yeah,
Wow. Okay, so that's the difference.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I never knew that that was the rule. I didn't know that the protocols had changed to that. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised because supposedly 7 people had been in that boat, and we on that other show when those, yeah, I think there were 7, 8 of us or something like that. It just really messed up the whole crew. You know, suddenly we have a lead on the shelf, all these dressers that have been working on these projects. Then everybody had to do tons of different stuff. But this time there's only, I guess, 2 guys out of the initial 8 or 7 or 8 or something like that. So
Oh, okay. Well, that's better.
yeah,
I feel real bad for the one dude, obviously, because he's got it again. Hopefully he didn't, but it doesn't matter either way. He's gone for 2 weeks,
yeah,
so that sucks. But I'm
yeah.
glad that it was contained. I'm glad to hear it was contained.
The other thing that came out of it was our lead had a lot of interaction with that. This is a whole crew at Riverview.
Right.
Our lead had a lot of interaction with that crew, and the day they found out that he tested positive, she was on a tech survey driving around the city to all the locations, and all of a sudden the word came out to the health and safety people and her, and they just went kicked her off the bus, left her standing on the street corner, and drove away. They're like, nope, you're no longer coming on the tech survey. We don't want you anymore, and see you later. I shouldn't make light of it because it was pretty bad. It was really uncool, and she was pretty upset, pretty mad about it, and yeah, I don't think it was handled very properly, and yeah, so boom, she had to catch a cab back to wherever she was going. I think back to home, and yeah, they just kicked her off the bus like she had some brutal something wrong, where they're like, goodbye, no longer, you're not welcome here anymore.
Wow. Like they treated her like she was contaminated, like
Yeah,
extremely like radiated. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I don't know. I'm just gonna say this. I don't know if that was the right thing to do. And like I don't. It just feels very very wrong to me,
yeah,
especially with the powers that be were actually on that bus,
yeah.
so they could have actually phoned for her for a cab. They didn't
Yeah.
even do that.
No, it
They said,
was,
all right,
yeah.
well, you're useless to us. Thanks. Goodbye.
Yeah, it was pretty shocking. I was surprised when she came and told us all the news about how they handled it and how mad she was and upset about it. So,
Okay. Well,
but yeah, I don't think that'll ever happen again on our show. I think people realized that was the wrong way to handle it, and
oh, yeah.
going forward, I don't think that'll ever happen again to this show anyway. But yeah, so we've had a lot of interesting things happen at work. The world of sports is a bit busier than it was last week. You and I didn't have a ton to touch base on. Obviously UFC this Saturday, which was great, but the dog days of summer are still here. I was looking today on to see what was on tap for the sports landscape, and I could not believe what was happening on TSN2. They had all these shows today. They had world championships in tons of sports, and I was just stunned at the sports that are getting televised, are having these guys playing in world championships, and there's prize money. These guys are pros. I'm just gonna start listing off the show. They would just have one after another, after another, after another. The Golden Tee World Championship was today, the golfing game that you play in the bar, the Air Hockey Invitational World Championships. They have something called Slippery Stairs World Championships. 5 men and women compete against slippery obstacles to race to the top of multiple flights of stairs. And you get prize money, and you actually win. There was a CrossNet Sand series. This one sounds really cool. I haven't seen it before. I don't know anything about it, but this is called Dodds. It's the Death Diving World Championships. They said this is how they described it. This global internet phenomenon pits both top male and female athletes who battle it out for the world title in death diving world championships, and it's held in Oslo, Norway.
Okay, you know what? This is what happens when there's a pandemic. People have too much time on their hands to come up with this stuff. All right, cool. That's wow. Okay, I don't know what to say.
It was just so bizarre seeing it. All this crazy stuff. Right now, currently, we're in the second hour of the Cornhole World Championships. It's on right now from South Carolina. And following that, just probably right when we're finishing, you don't want to miss it. It's the Disc Golf World Championships. And this is on, I guess this is all on ESPN Ocho. I think that means 8. Is that right?
Yeah.
ESPN 8. So I didn't know ESPN had 8 channels, but this is the Ocho, and it's just showing all these obscure, crazy, wild world championships from sports I never even knew that had world championships.
Neither did I. Maybe there's a reason for it, possibly. But this is wow. Wow. Okay, cool.
If I was home today, I would have put together some videos I could have shown you, and we could have shown our viewers, and had some of our listeners tuning in, and we would have tried to describe it play by play a little bit of it, but not possible today. Too busy out and about. But yeah, these dog days of summer are pretty bizarre. I was shocked. I was looking and thinking, oh my God, like, look at all these things that are happening. But currently right now, it's Monday Night Football. The Saints are beating the Jaguars 23-3. Jaguars, man, worst team in the NFL last year, and sure not looking good tonight. Yeah, not impressive. Haven't turned this thing around quite yet.
No, I don't think they're going to be doing that this season. They might not do it next season. It might take a couple seasons for that franchise to turn it all around.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Did you have you seen all the, speaking of bad football teams, have you seen how decimated with injuries the Jets have been?
Well, I know that you told me about the one guy. I think he blew his Achilles.
Yeah, ruptured his tendon, yeah.
Ruptured his Achilles, which was sucked. But I don't know about the rest. How many, like, was there a lot of starters that got injured?
Yeah, it's just continuing. It's just brutal. So they just found out for the weekend, their linebacker Gerard Davis expected to miss at least a couple months with a brutal left ankle injury. The guy that you talked about, that's Carl Lawson, ruptured his Achilles tendon. He was the big free agent signing defensive end that they had to try to come in and help the quarterback. They also lost safety Zane Lewis. He suffered a season-ending injury, tore his patella tendon, and sprained his MCL really bad. They needed these guys to protect Zach Wilson and help out on defense, try to bring things on. Zach Wilson has actually looked really, really good in the preseason so far. On the weekend, he was 9 for 11, 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. His passer rating was 154.7, which is nearly perfect, if not perfect. They beat Green Bay 23-14 at Lambeau. He's had 6 different possessions in the 2 games he's been on. No 3 and outs, and he's looked actually quite composed, but decimated with these injuries, and other guys have been injured too. Not season enders, but they were going to be banged up for a few weeks. So it's too bad. Usually you see these teams suffer at the bottom, get these high draft picks and get a chance to move up, but it looks like Jacksonville and New York will still be near the bottom again.
Yeah, they're perennial bottom feeders, but you know what? I think they're getting used to it, so I think they're going to be okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I guess Jets fans. I used to be a Jets fan, but they lost me. They really lost me many years ago. They're just unable to put together a competitive team very often. Really good news here from the NFL, though. AJ Brown, the Titans wideout, expected to be ready for the season opener. His knee injury has held him out of practice and a lot of the preseason so far. He had procedures done on both knees in January. He missed OTAs and minicamp. He's missed some time, quite a bit of time earlier this season. He missed weeks 3 and 4 last year, but he still had a phenomenal Pro Bowl year. 70 catches, 1,075 yards, and 11 touchdowns. And one of the guys that we talked about a lot last year, just such a force, such an incredible guy, hard to bring down, so big and so talented.
Yeah, he is an incredible athlete, and he's an incredible offensive weapon for that team. So hopefully they better bring him along slowly, because they don't want to ruin his potential to come back and to have an effect on the field.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Some other good news with the NFL coming back is Carson Wentz. They say that they're very optimistic he'll actually be ready for opening day. He had a procedure done to remove a bone from his foot only 3 weeks ago. And he was out to practice today. And they said that he's really had a very, very quick turnaround. This timetable estimation for this type of surgery is usually about 5 to 12 weeks. So he's way ahead of schedule. One of his guards actually had the same surgery and same type of procedure, and he returned to practice today too. So they're doing some really good things there. And Carson, amazingly enough, he's back. After I heard about this brutal broken foot, it sounded like he would be back mid-season, if that.
Yeah, of course, because you think that an injury of that significance would take time to heal, but who knew that if you just remove the bone from your foot, you're just going to get better automatically. It's kind of funny because it's like, well, didn't he need that bone? Apparently not. He did not.
let's just rip it out of there. He probably didn't need that thing, did he? Like, who's the first doctor to say, okay, I know the procedure. Yeah, we're taking his bone right out of there. He doesn't need that thing.
Yeah, he just doesn't need it anymore. And neither does that other guy. He doesn't need that bone either.
Yeah, pretty weird, man. Pretty strange. But good to see him back. I really actually didn't think we would be talking about him. And we had talked about him being replaced by his old replacement, and not being able to ever really get away from the injury troubles he's had. But so far he's looking like he's back on track to play opening day.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic, because I'm interested on what he has to give. Like, what can he prove? Can he prove that he still belongs on the field? Yeah. Can he still produce numbers. You know?
So did you hear the big news about Giannis Antetokounmpo?
But did he make more money?
Well, he actually spent some money,
Okay.
and he decided he was going to become a part owner of the Milwaukee Brewers baseball team.
Oh, all right. Not bad. Obviously, a minority owner. You got a minority stake in it. But hey, that's what all that money can get you. It can get you become an owner.
Yeah, he said he was so excited. He couldn't believe how cool this was. I guess him and his team that he calls his people looked into buying an ownership of a soccer team over in Europe. Then he realized that when Patrick Mahomes did the deal for the Kansas City Royals and became a minority owner, he thought, oh, maybe that's something I want to check into. So he did. And yeah, he said, super excited, not super well versed on the game of baseball, but he said he's going to be, and he's going to, put a lot of effort into being an owner. And he said, one of the coolest, one of the most exciting things that's ever happened to him.
That, you know what, it's fantastic to see a lot of a recent thing, a lot of the real celebrity Black athletes step up and start to become part of ownership in a lot of these teams across the North America. And that's good, because that's the representation that we don't have as of yet, but it's coming. And it seems to be coming in waves and droves, because now these guys are making money to the point of Patrick Mahomes, $500 million. Yeah, that's a little bit of cake. You can become an owner with that.
Yeah, some money, yeah. This is his quote. He said, man, this is unbelievable. This is a dream come true for a kid from Athens, Greece, born from immigrant parents. I could have never imagined I would ever be in a position like this. And the Brewers principal owner, Mark Atanasio, joked that he wondered if their GM might be able to use him at first base. As a 6'11" guy, he would have quite the reach. He would be able to be almost touching the pitcher when he's standing on first base, and be able to get that ball delivered in. And he was wearing a cool jersey with his number 34 on it. And yeah, it was really fun press conference. I recommend checking it out.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's great to hear him say it like that. Like, considering where he came from to where he is at this point in time, at this moment, it's awesome.
Super awesome. Going back to, I'm just going to finish off. He said, Milwaukee made me who I am today. He signed a 5-year, $228 million Supermax contract in December with Milwaukee, after there was lots of speculation that he was going to go somewhere else and win with one of the big teams. He said, being in Milwaukee made me a better person. This is my home now. I've become a father here. I've become a leader here. I've now become a champion here, and I want to be involved in all the Milwaukee sports.
That's great. Yeah. That's great. Yeah, cool. He's planting his roots deep, and he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So the city should be very, very happy.
So great. Really great. Going back to football, I forgot to mention that Cam Newton has been sidelined with a COVID protocol. He had a little bit of a medical appointment that he had in a neighboring state. And because he left the state, he has to have a 5-day quarantine before he's allowed to resume practice. And it wasn't told to him. The Patriots knew about this procedure and had signed off on it, and he was going to get the appointment and everything. So all of a sudden, when he returned and somebody found out, boom, he's been put on the shelf. And Belichick said early on that he's the starter, he's my guy going in. But so far, Mac Jones has outplayed Cam. He's had way more snaps. He's played a bit better for sure. And now he's going to have another 5 days of practice getting ready for another game. So I'd say Cam, might be second string when the season starts.
You think it was a setup? You think they set him up intentionally? Because,
Whoa.
well, like, cause like that would be brutal. I want to say that there's no way that they would,
No.
but would they?
Jeez.
Would they?
Yeah. I wouldn't put it past Belichick. He's been a pretty
Exactly.
dirty, underhanded little guy there, but geez, yeah, that didn't cross my mind, but yeah, good point.
Yeah, man. Like, hey, I would like to think that they wouldn't, but like you just said, Belichick, he's ruthless. He's lethal, man. Like
There
he
is.
just he doesn't care. I need a win now.
He is very ruthless. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, basketball. I want to go back to basketball. Today, Kobe Bryant would have turned 43 years old. It was his birthday today. Tragically lost his life on January 26, 2020 in the helicopter crash. Lots of really cool tributes today to Kobe, a lot of footage of him as a player and as a dad, and his work in the community after. Tell me about your favorite memories of Kobe.
Oh, I would say one of my favorite memories of Kobe was when he did the impossible. When he scored that 81 points against Toronto in the Raptors game. Like I watched that game.
Yeah.
As I'm watching the game, I'm like, that's interesting. He's not missing. He's not missing anything. Ah, okay. And then I'm like, okay, well, you usually like to shoot a lot anyway. So how many points is he going to score? Never in my wildest dreams did I come up with the number of 81.
No.
I thought he'd get 60,
Yeah.
But then he just kind of kept going. And I was just like, I have no idea when this is going to stop. 81 points. That was special, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll never see anything like that again. I'm pretty
That's
sure.
true. Yeah. I watched that game as well, and I couldn't believe what he was doing. He was just unstoppable. They were throwing everything they possibly could, as he kept getting more points. It's like, okay, double him, triple him. He's not passing the ball. Nobody else is taking shots. Just get him. But he still would beat them. It was so phenomenal. I wrote down a few of his, favorite moments for me, and that was at the top of the list. Also, his 60 points in his final game, which is, so phenomenal, really, really neat. Everybody knew it was his final game, so all the stars came out, and every time he got a bucket, they would show Snoop Dogg, they'd show Ice Cube, they'd show Jack Nicholson, they just show celebrities, and everybody's dancing and having fun, and just, holy cow, what is he doing? And he just threw in 60 points in his final game. It was pretty incredible.
Yeah, that was incredible, man, because if I remember correctly at first, it didn't look good. He wasn't able to hit anything, and then he hit that Hall of Fame button, as it were, where it's just like, oh no, it's not going to end like this. I'm going to start hitting some shots right about now, and then all the greats have it within them, where they just go, no, I'm just going to have to dig a little bit deeper than anybody else can go, and I'll get there. Yeah. And he did.
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah. I wrote down he scored 62 against Dallas in first 3 quarters, and then they benched him for the rest of the game because they were completely dominating Dallas. Who knows what he could have scored if he played the full 4 quarters. And the 55 points he put up against Michael Jordan, just a phenomenal game. And he always said that I'm better than Michael. If we would have played in our prime, I would have kicked his butt. And he, always sort of felt like Jordan was a bit of a big brother. Jordan looked at him as a little brother and sort of on the same type of level. They were the same height, same sort of body type, played a lot of the same game. Kobe even seemed to have his mannerisms when he took his shots, when he made his moves. He really imitated a lot of Jordan. And I just remember that 55 that he put up against Jordan and the Bulls, and it was just one of those spectacular moments to watch.
Well, yeah, because it's almost like one of those moments when the student surpasses the mentor, surpasses the teacher, and that it's like the passing of the torch happened right at that moment.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see because that's Michael Jordan that you did that against.
Yeah.
That's just not that's not no scrub. That's not anybody. That's Michael Jordan. And so it means a lot to Kobe knowing that he could do that against him. Because if he can do that against him, he can do that against anybody.
No shit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, amazing. There was a video tribute today that was just really, really, really good, and it was narrated by Snoop Dogg. I think I saw it on ESPN. So if you want to take a look at some of the tributes that were today, that one was my favorite. It turned out pretty amazing. Did you see any of the sit down with Draymond Green and Kevin Durant the other day?
Heard about it.
Okay.
Didn't see it though.
Oh man, so good, so good. Watch it, take a look. I couldn't believe Draymond was just, boom, rarely brutally to the point. Just said, hey, that fight we had on the court and with the Clippers, did that contribute to you leaving here? Basically, KD said that the way the Warriors organization, Steve Kerr, all the GM and all the people in the front office, they handled it wrong, and that's when he realized that they weren't going to have his back, and he was going to look for another place to play. It was it was crazy. It was really, really, really interesting to watch them interact and some of the questions. And Draymond was doing the interviewer role, and KD was the interviewee, and it was really good. I'd recommend it heavily.
Yeah, because I think one of the points that was made, I don't know if I have the guy's name right. I think it was Rob Pelinka or something like that. I thought his name was mentioned as one of the main things, the main antagonist to this.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, it was during like one of the Warriors, like once they won the championship, and there was a comment made about something about like contract talks with Steph Curry as opposed to KD, and then the guy made a snarky comment to the effect of, "Well, Steph is Steph, and that's not what KD is to us. It's almost like he hasn't earned that right." And I was just like, yeah, you could probably think that, but don't say it in front of, I don't know, everybody on TV in front of millions of people.
Right.
Like you may think it, but that's one of those things you don't say.
No.
You said it. And then I think that's where that it's almost like you could take that comment and be like, that was the start of everything falling apart.
Yeah. Rob Pelinka is a GM with the Lakers, but Bob Myers is the GM with the Warriors. So Bob Myers. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yeah.
So I recommend it. I've been having a lot of troubles when I put up some YouTube things on my channel. When I post it on YouTube, all of a sudden it takes them a few hours to do checks and make sure that it clears, and they say, no, it didn't clear, so you're not going to be able to post this, or now we're going to have you pay us money. And there's been a lot of issues and stuff like that. I'm hoping to get a chance to figure out with YouTube how to best do this, but I would have loved to just show a little snippet of that clip. But I'll post the link in my description when I post it on YouTube, and take a look. Really cool sit down. I talked about them seeming to repair their relationship when they went to the Olympics and played with each other. They seemed to interact on the bench quite well on the court, and it seemed like they buried the hatchet, because there was some definitely problems between the two of them for a while there.
Oh yeah, no, there was the animosity was real, very, very, very real, and as they said, it was exacerbated by the front office and by the coach Steve Kerr, which I still kind of like. I don't know how Steve Kerr was thrown into that. I really look at that and I go, does he seem like that kind of person to me just from what I see off TV? I'd say no, but I'm not around the team all the time like they are. I have no idea. But at the same time, they did place blame on them a ton. But my question is, could they have handled the situation better? The two of them. I
Yeah.
think they could have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they asked Draymond to apologize, and he said absolutely not. And he said basically, I just laughed in their face when they gave me a 1-game suspension. I just like ha ha ha, and he said they were shocked at my reaction, and he's like, "Give me a break. That's such a joke." And he just moved on. But yeah, anyway, yeah, it's too bad because we could have seen a dynasty that could have won, multiple championships for many years. And yeah, it's strange when you see that, with Kobe and Shaq having their issues. They could have just been one of those teams where you look back, decades and decades and just think, holy cow, they won, all those championships in a row, or 8 out of 10 or something crazy. And sometimes these egos just clash and they just can't get along.
No. And also too, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it. Even if KD did stay, I think he still would have been unfulfilled.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that team is still Steph Curry's.
Yeah.
Will never be his. He would still be playing quote unquote second fiddle.
Right.
And he'd have to be good with that.
Yeah.
So would he be good with that? Because I know with Shaq and Kobe, neither of them was good with playing second fiddle to the other guy.
Yeah.
Neither of them weren't having it.
Right.
So they had to split.
Yeah.
There's only one guy that I could think of that was like, no, I'm good with playing second fiddle to this guy. That was Scottie Pippen to Michael Jordan.
Sure.
He was way okay with it.
Yeah.
You want to know why? 6 championships will do that for you.
Yeah. I would take that in a heartbeat for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. Some other cool news out of the NBA. There is a mayoral candidate for the city of Montreal, and he has started his political platform saying that he wants to get the NBA into Montreal. He has said he has huge plans. If he's elected, he's going to go great guns and lure the NBA to the city. His name is Balarama Wholeness. He's joined a new party. They're called Movement Montreal. And he said the city has a proven track record of staging NBA preseason games. They've got a great arena, the Bell Center. They have already had lots of games there. And they've got these great NBA players that have just recently emerged out of there. Lou Dort and Kem Birch. He said they are a large international metropolis with one of the world's most culturally and linguistically diverse populations. And he says, elect me in, I'm going to get the NBA here. What do you think?
You know what? It's a great platform to try to get him in there. I don't know if there's enough basketball voters, but cool. And also too, I love the idea of having another NBA team in Canada.
Yeah.
I think number one, first off, we should never have lost our team in the first place.
No.
I think it was a travesty that we did,
Yeah.
or that we were set up to fail. Actually, that was probably more to the point. We were set up to fail.
No.
So it would be great to see another NBA team come to Canada. I just don't know if it should go to Montreal.
Right.
I think it should come here.
Come here, yeah. Well, let's expand it, in both cities. And I think there's a possibility of doing it twice. Adam Silver said in July that expanding beyond 30 teams is a possibility, but there is no immediate priority for doing that. In 2018, a local business group had approached the NBA and expressed some interest, saying that they would bankroll a bid for a franchise. And so they have the ownership group in place. And I know that it would be phenomenal to have some more teams. Basketball's never been more popular in this country than it is right now, especially from Toronto winning that championship. I never thought basketball would be more popular in the spring, early summer compared to hockey, but that year the Raptors did. It was more popular than hockey in this country. Lots more people were interested in watching the NBA playoffs than the NHL playoffs, and it was pretty shocking.
Yeah, it was shocking, but it was super cool, man. It was awesome to see. And also too, there's been an influx of interest because of just how many Canadians are now making the league.
Yeah.
It's like our top end talent is really high end now. Like we are at that point right now, and it's fantastic to see the younger generation getting into the league from this country.
Yeah, no kidding. Speaking of hotbeds and basketball, really great cities, your hometown was featured again this weekend. The Fraser Valley Bandits of the CEBL made the semifinals again this year. They lost out by 1 bucket in the semifinal to advance. They were trying to advance to the final for the second year in a row. They lost 84-82 to Niagara. They had a system where soon as the first team to score 84 was winner, and the point guard had the ball, and he went up and threw it off the glass, and it approached the hoop and it fell out. Niagara marched down the floor, put up a 3, and won the game 84-82. Edmonton ended up advancing to the final and winning for the second year in a row, and became the national champions. I'm really hoping that this league keeps flourishing. I think it's super important for development of Canadians, and a lot of basketball players that are playing in Europe can come here and showcase their talents and be able to be home close to family. I love it, and I'm glad Abbotsford's becoming a city that's a destination for a lot of sports fans.
No, that's fantastic to see. That's fantastic, man. Like I'm actually, now that you've mentioned that, I'm excited to go see a game.
Yeah,
which will definitely happen at some point in time when the season starts up again. So it's good, and also too, it garners interest from our young people to get into the sport of basketball.
my brother from another mother, Alex Campbell, was the team high 19 points. Their guard, Kenny Manigault, just missed that layup. Oh, I was watching it, and I was so shocked that it fell out and they lost. Niagara, Phil Scrub came down and scored that. Yeah, so yeah, good success so far for the Fraser Valley Bandits. Yeah, they've been in the final. They were in the final last year, semifinal this year. Next year they're going to do it. And then the other sports team that's in Abbotsford now is the Abbotsford Canucks. The new AHL team for the Vancouver Canucks is in Abbotsford, and it's so great because they have such access to their young guys. Any guys that are rehabbing injuries, coming back after layoffs, can be there. They need a guy immediate because of an injury, quick call up, just drive from Abbotsford to here in an hour and a half or whatever it takes, and boom. So exciting. Can't wait to go to some games. Really thrilled that your hometown has the Canucks now, and it's really going to be super fun. They've got the Johnny Canuck logo, really reasonably priced tickets, and I hope it's sold out all the time. I think a ton of people in the Valley are going to flood there and really support this team.
It sounds like Abbotsford's becoming a real sports town now, which is cool. It's fantastic. And also too, I love the fact that they're very close to the Canucks. Like that team is very close to the Canucks. They're like a hop, skip, and a jump away. So yeah, I think that will do well for both squads, both teams, for sure, both franchises.
Yeah, it's so great. Incredible. Yeah, so lots going on in the world of basketball, world of football, and why don't we turn to the UFC that happened on Saturday? We had a great card, top to bottom, tons of really good fights. All the 50K bonuses went to the early fights, the prelims, and some incredible knockouts. There was just KO after KO after KO, and it was like, how are they going to decide on this 50K? This is going to be really tough. What did you think of this card, top to bottom?
I thought it was really good. Like I was actually pleasantly surprised because there's a lot of new names on this card. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of fighters that you normally do not get to see, or they're usually on prelim cards themselves. So I was pleasantly surprised with how it turned out. It was a very, very good card.
Yeah. The main event had Jared, the Killer Gorilla Cannonier, facing Kelvin Gastelum. And you and I talked about how important this was for Gastelum. He was on, he had lost 4 of his last 5. Now it's 5 out of the last 6. He was game, but he just didn't have enough. It was a close fight, 3 rounds to 2 rounds. Cannonier ended up taking the victory, but yeah, it was a really tough battle. Cannonier was a better fighter in my mind, but yeah, what did you think?
I thought to myself, like Gastelum, unfortunately, is fighting the best guys now.
Yeah.
And he's just falling short against the best of the best. That's basically what's happening to him. And from my perspective for this fight, I thought Cannonier just controlled the fight better than Gastelum did.
Right.
He didn't allow Gastelum to do things to him. Like, for instance, get him up against the cage. It was almost like his circling around the cage was exceptional.
Yeah.
His back never really touched the cage.
Right.
Like it really, like he just didn't allow that to happen. And then he stuffed every shot that Gastelum had. I believe he was 0 for 7 for takedown attempts.
Yeah, they said 0 for 8, but I thought he got 1 takedown, but they said 0 for 8 in the stats for sure.
Okay, so and I remember when DC said, "No, that's a takedown," and I'm like, "Well, I guess it's not because it didn't count." Right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go for 0 for 8. Like
Yeah.
Cannonier, like he just took certain things away from Gastelum's game, and he didn't allow it to happen. And on top of that, in the third, where he dropped him with that huge hook, oh, well, first off, normal people don't pop back up like it was nothing.
Yeah, he got up.
And he did.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at it going, what? How did he do that?
Yeah.
How did he just pop back up?
I know.
But yeah, I thought Cannonier's countering was better. I thought his movement was absolutely fantastic and stellar. And yeah, it was just a very well fought out fight plan by his team against Gastelum. And he executed.
Yeah, he was amazing execution, just so great. Yeah, and it's hard to know what's wrong with Gastelum, why he can't break through. He is facing the best of the best. He has faced all those top guys. And he probably gave Adesanya his toughest test outside of Jan Blachowicz when Adesanya went up in weight. Yeah, he really gave the champ everything he could handle. He's now working with Henry Cejudo, and I thought that was a really brilliant move. And I thought, yeah, he would be able to come in there and do some damage. But it just seems like Cannonier has finally put things together, found his weight class. They did showcase quite a bit of him starting at heavyweight, going to light heavyweight, and now he's middleweight. It's an amazing story, and it's amazing that a guy could be the shape he was in and win and make his UFC debut and then be able to work himself down and have the body that he has. He's so cut, he's so lean and so powerful still. It's an incredible transformation, and man, amazing that he could drop 70 pounds and be this in this incredible shape and beating the best of the best in this division.
He's an Adonis. Like his body is like a Greek Adonis, man. Like it's actually absolutely amazing. But what's special about Jared's situation is the work that he put in to get to that point. He put in an exceptional amount of work. And then that's what I keep saying about some of these bigger guys. Like if you put in the work, well, then that's the success that you can have too as well. But you actually have to be willing to sacrifice to put in that much work. And because that's not easy, man, what Cannonier did. That is not easy whatsoever. but he's reaping the rewards now, and
Yeah.
that's what you want to see. That's where you want to get to.
Yeah, he set a record for the most significant strikes, and yeah, he said he's broke. He wants a title shot. He wants to get paid. He went on to say that the people at the top of these divisions should get paid like elite athletes, and they're not yet. And he thinks it's wrong, and he hopes that things can change. He's talking about if they won't give him a title shot right away, he would like to fight the winner between Darren Till and Derek Brunson, which could be absolutely phenomenal fight as well. Whoever emerges from that. Do you think he's earned this title shot?
Yeah, because who else is there?
Yeah.
Like, there's yeah, he gets his title shot. Like, whoever wins between Adesanya and it's Whitaker, they're fighting again, right?
Yeah.
Whoever wins between that, and that's Cannonier's shot.
Cool.
You can't take that away from him. Like, I don't think what sort of argument could you have to take it away from him?
Yeah.
I don't think it exists.
What's Gastelum gonna do now?
Well, if he doesn't get cut, yeah, he's gonna have to start from the from the starting block again. Like, he's gonna have to work his way back up the rankings. Even with the fact that I don't know if he's actually going to fall that far, because it was Cannonier number 3, he's number 9. Like, so he might fall out of the top 10, but barely. You know what I mean? So but he's going to have to start from the back again and try to rise up. But it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be long, and then hopefully he doesn't get cut, like I said again. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with him.
There was a little rumors that maybe Brad Tavares is his next opponent, but there was also a lot of people saying that he should go down 170. Not sure if his body type can make that work, but he's never been a very cut guy. He's never been able to be really ripped, so I'm not sure if he can get there and get to 170. Not sure if that's his move, but it's surprising that a guy that gave the champ the hardest fight he's had is now lost 5 out of the last 6 and starting to fall out of that top 10 and become irrelevant and be on the verge of being cut. It's quite the fall from grace.
Yeah, it happens, man, and it can happen in an instant. But what also can happen in an instant is his rise back to the top, and we've seen that before too as well.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The co-main event had Mark O. Madsen against Clay Guida. Guida's that Energizer Bunny and always fun to watch, but the Olympian Mark Madsen is on a tear, and he said he's running out of time. He's old and he wants to get a title shot, so he wants a lot of fights. 3-time Olympian, silver medalist in 2016. They've talked about all the things that he's gone through, him and his family. He didn't fight for 533 days because of numerous reasons. He had a broken jaw that they did surgery on. It didn't work. They had to do it twice. His wife has been diagnosed with MS. He had his house completely destroyed and they lost their house. Just on and on and on. Heartbreaking story, but he looked phenomenal. And I think if they can get him into fights, I think he has a really good chance to really go up into this weight class and beat a lot of really talented guys.
Yeah. And also too, on top of that, he's still undefeated.
Yeah.
The man's still undefeated. He would look great in this fight. Like he took his time with this fight. Anytime he got close, he got into clinch position, he was utterly dominant against Guida. Guida really had no answers for him whenever he was in the clinch. Greco-Roman wrestling really came to the fore, and you could see it.
Yeah.
Threw great knees when he was in the clinch too as well. His movement was fantastic. He popped the jab really well. And he dealt with Clay's dashing in and throwing his wild combos and stuff like that. He did really well. But I want to say this, Guida actually looked really good with his hands.
Yeah.
And the way he threw his combos, I was impressed. I was just like, wow, I've seen this side of Guida for a long time. Like, his hands looked really good. And obviously it was a very close and competitive fight. Madsen came out with the split decision win, but it was close. It
Yeah.
was close. It was closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. He definitely had a lot of volume. I just wish he would throw a lot more straight punches. His hooks were just being evaded too often by Madsen. I wish if he would have thrown more jabs, more straight rights, I think he would have landed more. I think Madsen was picking him apart with those straight punches, and Guida's hooks were missing way too often. I think he should have changed it up a little bit, and he might have been able to take this. As you said, it was a split decision. He became one of very few fighters. I don't know if I have it right in front of me, but he passed 6 hours in octagon time. I think only about 5 guys in history have ever got that. 39 years old and still, just that Energizer Bunny, so much adrenaline. And let's see, where does it have here? Oh, yeah. So, he's the 9th fighter all time UFC history, more than 6 hours of octagon time. He's one of those veterans that have been around so long. He's actually a Hall of Famer. His Diego Sanchez fight is in the Hall of Fame as one of the greatest fights of all time in UFC history. That was his 31st UFC appearance, and great to see these veterans. We say that a lot. I say that a lot. It's really nice to see guys that can keep continuing their career into their late 30s and even into their 40s.
Yeah, no, it's the man is built to last. That's for sure. And he never gets tired. It doesn't matter how old that dude gets. He never gets tired in the octagon. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It is. It's really cool. Yeah. Okay, we mentioned the heavyweight battle between Parker Porter and Chase Sherman last week heading into this, and you said you really just hope that Porter would come in more in shape and be able to showcase his ability. I was pretty impressed with his gas tank. I thought Chase Sherman was super gassed and having a ton of tough times as the fight wore on, and Parker Porter just kept peppering him with big shots and was able to wear him down and get this victory.
Yeah, that was shocking to me that Porter actually had the better gas tank than Sherman. And as the fight wore on, especially in the 3rd round, where it was winning time and Porter won it.
Yeah,
like his volume was consistent, whereas Sherman's, you can see there was a huge drop off. He was immensely tired. Like he had nothing really left. There was nothing really left on his shots either, and Porter just kept coming. I was impressed, man. I was impressed with what Porter did and how he did it, and it was a great win by Porter.
Porter's head movement to me was really, really crucial. Not moving his head crazy, just moving out of the way of the shots and just being just not there when Sherman threw his punches. His head movement was phenomenal, and it was just a stand-up war. Not much takedowns. I thought there would be more, especially when Sherman started getting a little bit tired. I thought he would take it to the ground, and it didn't happen. And huge win. I thought we were going to see 2 gorillas with their arms in the air. The vanilla gorilla went down to defeat, and I think that was an upset. But I don't think I've ever seen Porter look better. Really nice to see him working on his gas tank, and he looked fresh even as the fight wore on.
Yeah, I know he did look fresh, and he just looked good. He looked good in there. He had solid leg attacks to Sherman's legs. Actually, they both did, but I thought Porter's was consistent with his leg attack as well into the 3rd. And then he threw that overhand right, pretty effective throughout the course of the fight.
Yeah. Okay. The fight previous to that one had a UFC newcomer from Dagestan. Uzbekistan. They said his name perfect, and I was saying it perfect that night. And I know I'm going to butcher it right now, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. Saad Yakub Rachmaninoff, Ramanov, sorry. Syed Yakub Kok Ramanov looked really good. Looked really, really good for his USA debut. Man, he really was able to get an amazing choke that put Trevin Jones completely out. It was yeah, it was an impressive debut from a guy that I wish didn't have so many vowels in his name.
Yes, yes, Kakramanov. I think it was. I think it was. But I was impressed because this guy missed weight.
Yep.
But it was understandable since I believe he only had 10 days to prepare or something like that.
Four. He said 4.
Okay, I lied. It was even less than that. So it's understandable if he misses weight if he only has 4 days to prepare. All right, I'm gonna give him a pass on that one. And then on top of that, he was the fresher fighter going into the 3rd round.
Yeah.
I have no idea how he did that. I really don't. I do not get that at all. I was like, my goodness, this guy's the fresher fighter coming in. He looked great, man.
Yeah.
Movement, the fight. He fought Jones in everywhere, and he was not willing to give him an inch anywhere.
Yeah.
Jones, I thought, was stalling a little bit by pushing him up against the cage and fighting that way, because to me it seemed like he was trying to catch his breath.
Yeah.
A lot. You know?
I felt bad for Jones. He tapped and Herb Dean didn't see it. Herb kept trying to move to the sides to try to get the view, and when he went around the side, Jones had tapped, but he went out. He was totally unconscious when Herb finally realized he was slumped down and he wasn't awake anymore. Hopefully that didn't give him any long-lasting effects, but yeah, all of a sudden, Kakmanarov, whatever, he put his finger to his lips and said, "Yeah, silence everybody," because he knew they were cheering for the American. He seemed super confident. He says he's going to take down the champion. He said, 4 days notice, look how good I was. Imagine if I get an 8-week camp. Look out, I'm coming. You guys are in trouble. Full of confidence. He trains out of Irvine, California, but he was all the way back in Uzbekistan when he got the call with 4 days notice. Somehow he made it all the way back and gets the huge submission win. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this guy. There's a lot of these guys coming from these Stan countries that are dominating like crazy, and they have a lot of confidence too.
Yeah, they just come down from the hills or from the mountains or wherever the heck they're training from. They come out of their cave and they'll be like, all right, time to fight. And they're just ready to go, ready to roll, man. These guys are amazing. I am happy to see them in the biggest stage, because these are guys that maybe sometimes you wouldn't even know of. You wouldn't even hear them. But then they come out of nowhere and they just start to dominate. It is awesome. Yeah. Because it just elevates the game and it elevates everybody else's game.
Yeah, it's sure a good time to be a fan of the UFC and mixed martial arts in general, because every single week we're seeing debuts of people that are from the far reaches of this world, and they're coming in and they're just blowing us away with their skill levels and the abilities in different disciplines. And man, it just seems like every week it's suddenly, holy cow, I never heard about this guy. He comes in and blows people away.
Yeah, and I love it. I love the fact that like we have that now, like where you just like, oh, I've never even heard of this dude before. Who's this guy? And then it's just like, okay, he's really good. Yeah. He's really good. Yeah. Shocking.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's super fun. So I think I didn't mention that Gregor Gillespie, Marco Madsen called out Gregor Gillespie as his next opponent. He swore at him and yelled, so they cut the little bit of the audio, but he called out Gregor Gillespie. Our next guy that we're going to talk about the winning fight, Vince Pichel, he also called out Gregor Gillespie. So I'm not sure exactly why Gregor's on everybody's radar, but Pichel was really good, beating Hubbard. Brutal leg kicks, knocked him down about 4 times from leg kicks, just because he was coming in. He would take that inside leg kick and he'd be off balance, boom, on the ground. Pichel looked phenomenal. The way he raises his arms and you could see his nickname on the bottom of his biceps from hell. Love watching this guy, and it was a really good performance.
Very good performance, solid performance against a very, very tough competitor. Because Hubbard just kept coming at him. A lot of forward pressure by Hubbard constantly, even with the leg kicks, even with him being chopped down. He just kept coming at him. But Pichel dealt with that pressure very well, circled off well, peppered him with like everything that he did it was just technically perfect. I thought, I really did. Like I just thought he just did everything that he needed to do to beat this guy. His combos looked great, fantastic, and then just really picked him apart. At the end of the day, he really did.
Yeah, he was great. He also had really good head movement. I really liked the way his timing was, and he just has a little bit of a weird style to him. I do now know why he called out Gregor Gillespie. He lost to him in 2018, June 1st, 2018. Gillespie got him in an arm triangle choke and beat him 4 minutes into the second round in New York. So he wants to avenge that loss.
Yeah, well, that would make a lot of sense because he only has 2 losses on his record. So yes, I would want to avenge that loss too.
Yeah. So we'll see who Gillespie gets next, but 2 guys want him. So one somebody will have to wait in line, but I think it would be amazing to see Pichel against him and have a rematch. Okay, we're gonna get to talk about our first 50K winner here. The opening fight of the main card had 2 flyweights that are just so fun to watch. I just love this division so often. The transitions, the quick movement. Both guys are top of the game. Really cool fight, but Pantoja, just an amazing submission. And he got 50K for his win. Rear naked choke victory there. It was really, really good and slick.
Yes, it was. And Pantoja, more importantly than anything, was patient.
Yeah.
Because Royval is one heck of a man. Hardest guy, one of the hardest guys probably to keep down on the ground because he was Randy rolling. He's always creating scrambles to get out of whatever you got him in. And Pantoja was exceptionally good at taking his back all the time. Yeah. And so, but Royval, to his credit, would never accept the position until finally in the second round where Pantoja got the body lock on him. And once he got the body lock on him, he actually kept him stationary for a couple seconds. Yeah. And that's all he needed to sink in that rear naked choke. That was it. That was the difference. He actually kept him stationary for a brief moment, and then he sucked in the rear naked choke, and it was over.
Yeah. Well, we talked in the main event about Cannonier getting a big victory at number 3 and should be in line to have a title shot. Pantoja immediately got to look at the champ and call him out. He has actually beaten the champion twice already. They have had 2 fights. Brandon Moreno was there doing the Spanish broadcast. They both said, yeah, let's do this thing. Moreno was able to get a choke in the first fight and a decision in the second fight, I think I have here. And so it's pretty wild that a guy number 3 ranked has already beaten the champion twice before he became the champion. I'd be a little scared if I was Moreno having to fight the guy for a 3rd time to try to keep my belt.
I would be, but I think with Moreno where he is right now, he's got utter confidence in his game. Yeah. I think he knows that he's not that same fighter anymore. And I think Pantoja knows it as well. Right. Knows he's not that same fighter. Because I want to say this, that might have been the nicest, most respectful call out I think I've ever heard in my life. Because the man has a huge amount of respect for Marin.
Yeah.
That was pretty clear from that call out. So I think he gets it because it was just so nice. So nice. So I think he does get his wish. And I hope to see an absolute war.
Yeah. Because
the other thing is that I've noticed with Pantoja against Royval, I don't know. It just seemed to me like he was getting tired. I don't know. It did. He did get the win. He did get the submission win. But if he didn't get that submission, man, I don't know. I think Royval would have really got him in trouble, put him in deep waters if that fight had continued.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, both those guys are amazing. But Royval, man, yeah, his movement is phenomenal. Really good to watch, and I loved that fight. It was fun to watch as long as it lasted. Yeah. The feature prelim had Austin Lingo and Luis Saldana. Really great battle between two great warriors. Ended up going to decision victory for Lingo. Yeah, what were your thoughts about this one?
Well, Saldana definitely won the first. He looked super slick, and he was hurting Lingo to the body with those body kicks, big time. But then Lingo toughed it out and started putting on even more pressure and increased the pace in the second round, and then increased it again in the third. And then that's where he won the fight. I think he won the fight in the second and third when he increased the pace like that. Saldana was definitely uncomfortable with that increased pace and forward pressure that he was putting on him.
Yeah.
Super uncomfortable with that. So I give Lingo all the credit in the world for that, because he was not winning that fight, and then he turned it around from the second onwards of that fight.
I was really shocked at Saldana, how much he had his hands down, how much he was showing the confidence in his abilities. But I think his foot injury definitely hampered him. I think he had kicked an elbow that swelled up his foot. Could have probably broken it. I haven't heard yet, but that I think was a big key factor in this one.
Yes, that's right. He did injure his foot, and his mobility was definitely hampered by that. You could tell that he was not moving around nearly as well as what he once did in that first round.
Yeah. Okay, well, why don't we talk about the bantamweight fight between Brian Kelleher and Domingo Pilarte. Kelleher turned the tables. Pilarte is a grappling specialist, but Kelleher was able to get some takedowns and hold him down there. He was really great at his control and was able to grind out a big win.
Yeah, it was rinse and repeat from the first round to the second round to the third round. Took him down. Actually, even I think it was the second or third round where he carried him to his corner where his coaches were, slammed him to the ground, and just beat him up from there. Pilarte never understood the fact that he needed to get up. Like he was very comfortable with being in a closed guard and fighting off his back, but that wasn't going to win him the fight. He needed to get up immediately because that wasn't working for him. Like it just wasn't working. But he just kept doing the same thing. And Kelleher is like, oh, this is great for me. I'm just going to keep doing the same thing and win the fight. Yeah, that's what he did.
He sure did. Yeah, he looked good doing it. I loved his call out of Sugar Sean O'Malley. He said, quit hanging out with 6ix9ine and getting the tattoos on you. You should tattoo a vagina on you because you're such a pussy.
I remember that. Yes. I was just like, oh, that's good. That's good. I don't know if Sean O'Malley's going to take the fight, but that was a good call out. I liked it.
That was hilarious. Yeah. It was funny. That was unexpected and great, though. Yeah, it was one of those classic ones. And I don't know how long he's been waiting to say that, but I'm glad he did. We didn't catch all of it, but I could read lips, I guess. So. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we had in the fight before this, we had a debut, and we have a new Nunes as somebody that we want to watch and has knockout power in her fists. We got a little 5'2" fighter against a 5'9" fighter. Styles make fights, and this was fun. Nunes had to get in there and throw some big shots, and finally she landed that left hook on the jaw and KO'd Bia Malecki. Cool performance, and great to see this debut of a new Nunes to cheer for.
Yes, a new Nunes. I like this fight because like it seemed pretty obvious what each fighter had to do.
Yeah.
Malecki tried to use her length and just keep her at distance and just beat her up from that. And Nunes knew what she had to do, which was go into the fire and throw her shots once she got close,
Yep.
which is what she most certainly did. When she got Malecki up against the cage and started throwing her shots, she was vicious.
Yep.
And it was a flurry. Like she was trying to get her out of there as much as she could. I thought there was going to be a chance of her punching herself out, but she left just enough to finish the fight, and it was pretty impressive.
Super impressive, yeah. Today is actually Bia Malecki's 30th birthday, so she's still probably not able to celebrate too well after losing the first fight of her career. She was 4-0 going into this one. Nunes was super emotional. She's on a 7-fight win streak, but as I said, her UFC debut, another Brazilian to look out for in that division. And yeah, it was fun. Yeah, two really good up and comers, and I love the different style. Like you said, Malecki kept with the front kicks and tried to keep her at distance, but Nunes figured a way in to wade through that and get the knockout. And yeah, it was nice to see. So great, another great debut. We have a 50K bonus going to William Nightmare Knight in this one. He beat up Fabio Charant, and man, talk about powerful physiques. This guy looks like a absolute Adonis. Knight has so much power and was able to get a huge KO in this one. And yeah, look out. You don't want to be hit by those fists.
No, you do not. And the way that he knocked him out was a check left hook with a straight arm.
Straight arm. Yeah.
Straight arm. There was no hook to the arm at all. It was a straight arm, and he knocked him out with that. That's ridiculous power. Yeah. That's unbelievable power. So that's somebody that you definitely do not want to get into a war fist with. That's for sure.
I don't think I've ever seen somebody knock out a guy with a straight arm like that and just kind of hit the guy like that. It was no wind up. There was no hook to it. There was no body movement to it. He was kind of even going back, and he just boom, just KO'd him with the power that he had. Holy cow. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, because what does it mean when he actually hits you with a good punch? Because that was a bad punch.
Yeah. And he did the big man backflip too, to show his athleticism. Pretty cool. I think somebody dared him to do that, and boom. Yeah, I love the nickname of Charant, the Water Buffalo. I was looking forward to the Sanford MMA product. I was thinking this is going to be a great war, but yeah, once Charant took that shot to the chin, he was done. It was a quick finish after that.
Yeah, it was all she wrote, and Knight is now on a lot of people's radar. That's for sure. After that win,
DC was even a little bit afraid to go into the cage because of the celebration, and the way he was just screaming and yelling, and he was, "Stop playing with me." He kept yelling, and everybody was like, we're not playing with you, man. We don't want to mess with you, buddy. We're all afraid. Knight was hyped up when he got that knockout.
No, he was certainly hyped, and understandably so. It's a big win for him.
Okay, another 50K bonus for the 9th career knockout with a wheel kick. Absolutely amazing finish to this fight. It looked like it's going to the judges' scorecards. Ignacio Bahamondes is going to get the victory over Roosevelt Roberts, and then he throws one last spinning wheel kick and put Roberts out. And that was it. No judges' scorecards needed. They just could rip him up from that point forward. The Chilean with the huge stamp victory and another 50K in his bank account.
I'm going to be honest here. That was the first fight for the prelims, and it was already at the end. I saw the best part of the fight. That's what I saw. I saw the best part of the fight. I'm watching the fight, and I'm like, okay, so I'm hearing where the analysts are, like, oh, it looks like Bahamondes won this fight. That's cool. And then it's almost as if he thought, heck, I'll just throw it out there, see what happens. Throws the spinning back kick, connects, and knocks him straight out. I was just like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? I just turned it on to see that. That's amazing. Oh man, I was amazed.
Yeah.
That was impressive. 5 seconds left in the round, my friend.
Yeah.
5 seconds left in that third round. Gets that knockout win.
Oh, it was awesome. It was really amazing. So yeah, such an incredible kick, and we're gonna see that replay forever and ever and ever. And every time he comes toward the cage, we're gonna see that knockout from every angle. It was just at the tail end of the early. They had early prelims, and then the prelims telecast just started right near the end of that fight. So a lot of people only just saw maybe the last minute of that fight. Yeah, he had attempted about 3 or 4 through the fight, and he never had connected. But 5 seconds left. Might as well throw one last one, and Roberts walked into it. I've really enjoyed Roberts' career so far. I've liked a lot of his fights, but man, that was a bad knockout.
Oh yeah, no, that was super bad knockout, man. Like it was a perfectly thrown spinning back kick, spinning heel kick, or hook kick, whatever you want to call it. It was perfectly thrown, and Roosevelt walked right into it, and it was all she wrote. Done.
Next week's combatants for the main event have Edson Barboza and Giga Chikadze, and Barboza was the guy that landed the first knockout wheel kick in UFC history.
Yes, and I believe that was against Terry Edom.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Right.
I'll never forget that because he stiffened up like a board and looked like he died. So yeah, I'll never forget that.
Yeah. And Barboza is known for his kicking game. He's one of only 2 fighters to finish multiple opponents with leg kicks. He has just ruthless, lethal leg kicks, has been able to finish fights, kicks to the head, kicks to the body, kicks to the legs. Multiple fighters could not withstand his kicks. He has fought the who's who in the UFC. Giga Chikadze has really not fought a lot of tough guys. The quality of opponents that Barboza has fought and the quality of opponents that Giga Chikadze has fought is night and day. Barboza has obviously lost more than Chikadze, but the quality of opponents it's just ridiculous, the difference.
Oh yeah, this is a huge step up for Giga.
Yeah.
This is to show, does he belong in the upper echelons or does he still have some work to do?
Right.
Because Giga is also known as a kicker. So I'm looking forward to this exceptional talent of kickers going at one another. Like am I going to see a blood sport where it's kick for kick? You want to kick me? Kick, bang, bang, bang. Like, that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I definitely want to see that. I'm looking forward to this fight. I can't wait. I can't wait to see this main fight. I want to see these 2 lethal kickers go at each other.
Yeah.
in the kicking competition.
I'm kind of favoring Barboza in this one. He's won his last two. He had a big knockout of Shane Burgos, his last opponent. He beat Mr. Finland, Mirkan Amirkhani by decision in 2020 in Abu Dhabi. He was on a bit of a losing streak before these last couple wins, but that was at lightweight. I think he's better at his current weight. He lost to Dan Ige, Paul Felder, Justin Gaethje, Kevin Lee, and Khabib. So all really, really, really tough guys. But once he's been at featherweight, he's won 2 out of his last 3. His kickboxing record is 25-3 with 22 knockouts. He's black belt Muay Thai, Taekwondo, and BJJ. He has just been that lethal guy with his kicks, and I just see Chikadze just not being on that same level. Chikadze's toughest opponent out of his whole entire career is Cub Swanson. You can't really even name anybody else that's even in that top 15, top 20. So I think he's bit off a little more than he can chew, but we'll see. Barboza has been beat, but I don't know. I think Barboza's better at the game than Chikadze is, and has faced much better opponents than him.
Oh yeah, like there's no doubt that the opponents that Barboza has faced is definitely levels above what Giga's faced. But this is Giga's chance to show that he belongs.
Yeah,
this is his chance. So we'll see if he's ready for the spotlight to be.
Yeah.
Going on him.
Yeah. He has said that he's going to walk through Barboza, and then he wants to be the backup fighter for Volkanovski, Ortega at UFC 266 in September, in case one of those guys can't make it, falls off for some reason, injury or pullout or COVID. He said he wants to be the guy. Max Holloway and Yair Rodriguez, they were supposed to be maybe in that mix. Now they're fighting against each other in November. So he said, there's nobody else that should be that backup guy. Put me in. I'm knocking out Barboza, and then I'm coming for that belt. Whoever falls off, I'm going to be facing that guy so I can win the title right away.
Yeah, that's a nice like little dream there and stuff like that. Like that's a nice thing that he's constructed in his mind. I don't think any of that's going to happen, but yeah, I'm sure somebody will be on standby. I just don't believe it will
be him. Okay. I'm really looking forward to the Kevin Lee Daniel Rodriguez fight. I think that's going to be an absolute war.
Yes, I totally agree with you. I think Daniel Rodriguez will want to try to keep it standing and try to hit him with his exceptional boxing, his boxing shots. And I think Kevin Lee will just try to shoot and ground and pound him into like the ground, into the canvas. He'll try to put his head through it, I believe. So I think two guys definitely have their plans of attack for this fight, and it's just going to be who can execute.
Yeah. The feature fight of the prelims has Alessio Di Chicaro facing Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Man, 2 killers in this one. Sam Alvey's on the card. I really look forward to the light heavyweight battle between Darren the Dentist Stewart and Dustin Jacoby. Yeah, there's a lot of newcomers too on the card as always for these fight nights. Anybody else jumping out for you for this one?
For me, the fight that I'm looking at, especially for this prelim, would be Darren the Dentist Stewart against Dustin Jacoby. I've always liked Darren the Dentist Stewart. I love this game. I love his game. I love the way that he comes at people and the way that he fights. And Dustin Jacoby is just super tough. So that would be the fight that I'd be paying most attention to on the prelims.
Cool. Conor McGregor is in the news quite a bit again. He's picked a bunch of fights as always. Still going at Dustin Poirier. talking a lot of smack about him, also picking on Khabib a bit. And then he said he's owed a bunch of money because Manny Pacquiao broke his contract and had this fight this weekend when he was supposed to fight somebody else. If he wasn't fighting Conor, he was supposed to fight somebody else. So he says he owes him a bunch of money, and they're going to have to go to court and settle it if possible. And I heard a new nickname for Conor McGregor that I kind of like. People are calling him now Jacked McLegger.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
Supposedly he's getting really big upper body because he can't work his lower body, so he's putting in twice as much work on the upper body, and supposedly he looks pretty jacked. But Jack McLegger, that's a good one. Hope that sticks for a while. There's just so much Twitter beef between him and Poirier, him and Khabib. He just likes picking fights and having a lot of things going on. He's seems like he's always in the news. He just won't go away. There was a sort of a sad moment this weekend in the world of combat sports. Manny Pacquiao ended up losing, and he said there's about a 60-40 chance that was the last fight of his career. He lost his fight. He was supposed to be fighting Errol Spence Jr., and Spence ended up getting a torn retina, having to have surgery. And so Yordenis Ugas stepped up and took the decision win over Manny, 116-112 on two judges' cards, 115-113 on the other. Pacquiao started off quite well, but he started fading in the middle of the fight, and Ugas really used that reach advantage, kept him at bay, landed a lot of jabs and some pretty strong rights, and Manny looked old. He's 42 now, been through a ton of wars, doesn't have the same fire and intensity that I remember seeing in his younger days. He did come up with a little bit of an excuse. He said his legs cramped up super bad in about the third round onwards. He said he's had this problem before, and he said it cropped up and he didn't know what to do about it. He said he just didn't have the movement he needed. He said it could be age, but these cramps were really bad and really restricted his movement. Did you get to see any of the highlights of this one?
No, I didn't get to see the highlights, but I did get to see what his wife had to say about his boxing career, which is pretty much begging her husband to stop at this point in time. And I remember seeing it off, I think it was a Twitter thing that she posted. And to me, I have to look at his career and say, you're a Hall of Famer. You've accomplished everything you could have ever wanted to accomplish in the realm of boxing. I think now it's time to hang him up. And also, too, he surpassed what anybody's boxing career would have gone to. He boxed into his 40s. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
Nobody does that. So there's nothing more for him to prove.
Yeah.
He's done it all, and he has more than enough money in the bank for himself, for his kids, for his kids' kids,
right?
Possibly his kids' kids,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So he's good.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of those times where you should listen to your family and be like, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
I think it's time to call it a career.
It's not like he's, started losing all the time. He's 5-2 in his last 7 fights, but he's only fighting about once a year now. He has taken a huge political role in the Philippines. He actually wants to become president of the country. That's one of his stated goals. And he thinks that he can help the Philippines, which has a lot of issues and a lot of troubles financially in the world economy. He has surpassed anybody's expectations for what he was going to do in his career. One of the greatest of all time. He said he felt like he might have overtrained for this one, which is pretty wild. He said he did 32 rounds of boxing every day in the gym, and then he ran in the mountains to keep his legs sharp. But he thinks that was a little bit too much at 42, and it might have contributed to his leg issues.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Like what you just detailed, explained that's just utter nuttiness. But at the same time, that's what it takes to be a Manny Pacquiao. Yeah. That's what it takes to be great.
Yeah.
So yes, possibly overtrained for that guy, but at the same time, that's why he is who he is.
Yeah.
Because he's willing to do that. He's willing to go to places that others aren't.
Yeah. One of the greatest boxing careers of all time. I have so much respect for him. I actually really, cannot believe how much he's gotten out of that career. And I think I don't ever recommend guys to retire. I'm not in their shoes. I don't know how it feels. I really don't. But I think, it might be just time to walk away. You're going to still be considered one of the greatest of all time, and held in high regard. And go on to help your country by becoming president. That's a super smart and admirable thing to do.
72 total fights as a pro, 62 wins, 8 losses. I think you're good. Personally, I think you're good, man. I think you're good.
Yeah.
That's
good point. Very good point. The world of boxing is about to see another one of the Paul brothers fight this coming weekend. Jake Paul faces Tyron Woodley this time. He was able to get his record up to 3-0. He beat another YouTuber his first battle. He fought a Nate Robinson, who had never boxed in his second battle, and beat him handily. Knocked out Ben Askren in less than 2 minutes in his last fight, and picked a fight with Tyron Woodley backstage of that one. And now this Saturday they are going to fight. I'd be surprised if Woodley doesn't absolutely just kill him. I have not been impressed with Woodley in the UFC for the past few years, but I think he's probably going to just absolutely kill this guy. I can't see him not.
I can't either. But what if he loses? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's the possibility exists.
Yeah.
But here's the one thing that's an absolute. This will probably be his biggest payday that he's ever had in combat.
Yeah.
And that's sad. That's ridiculous. That's sad.
Yeah.
Because this is an exhibition boxing match. That's what this is.
Right.
And that's going to be your biggest payday. You fought in the UFC. You were a champion. You fought in championship fights.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get this much money. That's a travesty. That's not right.
Not right at all. No, it's definitely not right, and crazy. But yeah, I know you won't be watching it. I'll put it on so I can talk about it a little bit with you and let you know how it is. I'm sure there'll be a ton of rappers, presenting. There'll be a lot of obscure guys that never even knew that were even thinking about boxing. It'll just be a lot of weed smoking, a lot of craziness. But I shouldn't watch it, but because I'm doing this, I probably will. And I'll give you an update on Monday.
You give me that update, because that's just what I'm going to hear. Wow, I really regret that, Jason. I really do. Again. But I watched it.
I did it again. Why did I do it again? Why did I do it again? Yeah, I've watched most of these, and I've been shaking my head almost the whole time. Scott Holborn usually texts me and says, "Are you watching this travesty? Are you watching this farce?" And it's all pretty. It's just crazy. It's amazing, and like you say, it's unbelievable that this many people will be tuning in. I think the last pay-per-view that Jake Paul was in got $1.5 million pay-per-view buys at 60, $70 a crack. So there's money there. There's money there. They'll keep doing it as long as people keep watching.
Yeah, and hey, I'll give it to them. They're managing to find those people that are willing to spend that money for that.
Yeah.
So congrats to them. Congrats to them. And also congrats to all those guys that are actually getting paid by these dudes putting on these fights, right? So, hey, Tyron Woodley, you deserve it. You're getting paid, finally. In the weirdest way possible, but you are getting paid.
Finally getting paid, yeah. I got so mad at Woodley in his last 3 or 4 matches. I just was disgusted with his effort, and he just seemed like he didn't even try. I'm not sure, if we'll see much of an effort, because I think he's probably getting paid no matter what, win or lose. But I'm sure he does not want to lose to a YouTuber and have that on his record, and everybody being able to mock him for it. So I expect him to win. I don't know. Jake Paul, he's beat nobody's really. Ben Askren was never a boxer, so well, I guess we'll see. Like I said, we'll see.
We will see. We will definitely see. Like, by all accounts, Tyron Woodley should win this fight, but he might not.
Yeah. So I'm going to let you go now. We're going to close this episode off. I have a marathon of watching tonight. I got to watch the Cornhole Championships, the Slippery Stairs, the Air Hockey, the Golden Tee, Death Diving World Championships, disc golf, on and on and on. Holy cow, man. Luckily, I don't start for 12 hours. 9 a.m. start tomorrow for me. So I can stay up for like another maybe 7 or 8 hours watching all this stuff. And I'll give you some text tomorrow and let you know what was my favorite thing to watch out of all these crazy championships.
You do that. I'm going to go to bed because my start time is 6:30. So
early
one for myself there, my friend. So
okay, well, thanks for doing this. It was fun as always, man. This was really great. We covered a ton of topics and had a blast as usual, man. So have a great week. Keep in touch, and we'll talk very soon.
We'll talk very soon. You have yourself a great day tomorrow.
Okay, buddy. All right. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Okay, wow. That was fun. We covered so much there. I'm gonna sign off so I can get to all the sports. I did want to is it no, it's not up here. So I'm going to have to talk about our partners and sponsors. We've got Anchor FM, the easiest place to make a podcast. Go to anchor.fm and follow the details, and you can do what Jason and I just did here. Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company. The V350 stick is a dynamic stick that you need in your hands or hands of a loved one. Pampas and Possibilities, the designers of handmade, curated West Coast things that you can put in your home. And Forever Living, the aloe vera company. They design products for health and beauty. Thanks, as always, to our partners and sponsors. Thanks to you. Thank you so much, Lorraine Joel, for all your hard work. Go to our website. Great stories, great things posted every day. And go to our main website, Complete Media Network. Tons of content there. There will be something that you can find that you'll love. You can find things to do. We've got entertainment. We've got travel. We've got just everything and anything. So thanks for your support as always. Love you guys lots. Take care of yourself, and bye for now.